20 minutes of a pre-show.
It was. Morning Liberty.
That's fine. Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson, wearing his second Coastal Orange Beach hat of the week. Actually.
You asked me how many I got. I said 2.
You have 2.
Now, what's interesting, I'll let you know about this. No city ordinances to go over for this particular conversation, but there is a dynamic between men and women, I think, that takes place. Okay. I'll have you know, well, the other hat's over there. I can't reach it, but I'll have you know, I originally picked this one. This was the hat I wanted. And then someone else that was with me, I'm not going to name names, wanted a different hat, but that hat didn't fit her. And they didn't have her size. And so she didn't like any other hats, but the one I picked out. So then she wanted this one. And I said, well, if you get this one, how am I going to get this one? And anyway, I gave it up and went with just a plain white hat, which I thought looked nice too. And I gave this one up, but now I'm wearing both.
Good to know.
And I think that just plays into how much men are willing to give up
That's
for women. And the reverse is not true.
Women run the world. We all know this.
So,
all right, it's Good Morning Liberty.
And look, it looks like the women in the group are agreeing. Sounds about right.
You knew that you had to buy another hat because that one was that would eventually be unavailable.
Yeah.
So
same thing when when they don't want French fries, but they do want French fries.
You got to get a bigger size of French fries.
Exactly. Or get 2.
We all know this.
We know this. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also known as providing. That's right. Which you should do, men, by the way. You should do that.
It's Dumb Bleep of the Week here on Good Morning Liberty, where we talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning every single day of the week when we want to. Smash, follow, subscribe, tell their friends and their children that they should listen to Good Morning Liberty every single day. Dumb Bleep of the Week, that's where we put together the dumbest things that happened. And in the live group, the Fed Haters Club, they vote on them, and we see what the dumbest thing is, and then it goes to Dumb Bleep of the Month, and if it wins, it goes to Dumb Bleep of the Year, and then the winner gets a trophy. And so that is how this entire thing works. Of course, last week was just sort of one giant dumb about the worst, craziest responses to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And today, for Dumb Bleep of the Week, I would say it's going to be about half the content. I did want to start off with a couple things that are unrelated. And so we are going to do that, I think, for the first 2. And then the next 11 will be related to the assassination that happened. Man, it's been over a week now, which is crazy. Okay, so we got 13 today, and a lot. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to vote for what the dumbest thing is. I've got one that I think should win. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I've got one that I think should win. But let's get through some of these. We're going to start.
We're getting a lot of hate.
Yeah,
from the Fed Haters Club saying, "Oh, is this going to be a 2-part series? You only get through like 2 of them."
No, we don't have a time limit today.
Yeah,
we can do whatever we want. All right,
4-hour podcast.
This could be. We're going to do 20 minutes per right now. Okay, so this starts with Nina Turner. So there was this guy, by the way, sad. He was found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Mississippi. All indications are that this was a suicide that happened. Just so you know, we'll talk about that here in a bit. That's fairly relevant. Was a black guy. Also, there was a white guy found hanging, I believe, also from a tree, like 100 miles away from there, like on the same day. Pretty weird.
That's
overall
strange.
Pretty weird. But anyway, the indications on this specific one are that it's a suicide. We don't know 100% for sure yet, but that's the initial indications on this. It has not stopped a few people from trying to, for some reason, turn this into some kind of race war victimization problem, like just creating the idea that this is some kind of a hate crime, racist murder that took place, even though there's literally no evidence pointing to that fact at all.
Was there a noose?
well, I mean, it was hanging from something. I don't, it qualifies. I don't know. Nina Turner, she's doing that, say his name thing. So you got to say his name. Unfortunately, and I mean this with all due respect, the guy's name's super tough to say. So I'm even going to, it's not because I don't want to say his name. I'm just saying.
Let's call him Trey.
Yeah. And I'm not, I'm not trying to talk ill of him. He didn't pick his name, and that's fine. We call him Trey. His name's Trey. She says his name is Demartravion or Trey Reed.
That's much. Trey Reed.
Trey Reed.
Yeah.
Is his name. Say it. Now, that's typically the thing that happens when someone has been killed by the police or,
killed on a subway.
Lynched or whatever. Something like that. Maybe some
knifed in the throat on a subway.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for her.
Also a hard name.
A lot of people with tough names.
Was that Ivana? Ivanka? What? I don't know.
Arinka?
Arinka?
I don't know. I don't remember now. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody wants us to say that name too.
Yeah. So Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, she also comes out and she says, Trey Reed should be alive. He deserved to grow old, to graduate college. The media is silent while his family mourns his loss. I fully support his family's demand for a thorough and transparent investigation. They deserve nothing less. Keep in mind, all of the initial indications, including from the medical examiner, who was a black guy, are that there was no foul play here involved, and this was a suicide. When you read something like what Rashida Tlaib just posted, it sounds like this guy got lynched, like he got murdered by someone, and he deserved to grow old and graduate, and the media is silent about this. I don't think the media covers every suicide. It should be like multiple channels have to be dedicated to that, Do
you think for 1 second that if this guy was lynched in America in 2025, that every single media outlet in the country would not be at that tree?
That is an amazing point.
They would most certainly be. Everyone would hear about it. They would be at the tree.
They would be all over it.
Yes.
And in fact, there'd probably be riots and stuff going on right now.
Yes.
There'd be cities burning at the moment if there were any indication whatsoever that that's what happened. Now, helping to stir all of this.
We found out about a noose hanging at a construction project. Nobody was in the noose. It was just the noose.
Just the noose.
And all the media reported on it.
Yeah.
We found out about the noose at the NASCAR event in the garage.
Old Bubba.
Old Bubba.
All
the media was on it. We heard about it. No one was in that noose either, by the way. There wasn't a body. Not a white guy, Asian guy, black guy, girl.
No guy. Wasn't even a girl either.
No.
A the, them, they?
Nothing. Nothing of the sort. Just the rope.
So, race grifting lawyer Benjamin Crump is all over this thing. The family has retained him, and he's decided to take up this case, which is no case. Just so you guys know, he just hasn't had a. He just had. How do you be as sensitive here? And absolutely nothing negative towards this guy whatsoever. It's extremely sad. But Ben Crump hasn't had a dead black person to grift off of in quite a while. And so he found something to latch onto. Now, if it turns out there's foul play in this thing and it turns out they got video evidence that something bad happened, then we'll come out, we'll issue an apology and a retraction. We were totally wrong. But he says, we've been retained by the family of Demartravion Trey Reed, the 21-year-old Delta State University student whose body was found hanging from a tree. Trey was a young man full of promise and warmth. People loved. Just so you guys know, there's literally nothing here. The body of a student identified was discovered by a faculty member around 7 a.m. on Monday, hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts of the Cleveland, Mississippi campus. According to the campus police department, quote, I want to begin by acknowledging that the manner how Trey was discovered has stirred many emotions in this community and many emotions around the state and the nation, the president said. And just so you guys know, this is super important. The school is about 50 miles from the Tallahatchie River, where in 1955, authorities discovered the body of Emmett Till.
Mutilated body, by the way.
The mutilated body of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black child who was abducted by two white men after he was accused of whistling at a white woman, or whistling in Dixie, as they call it. And the problem is, all this stirred up, these emotions. I don't think there's a lot of people around this campus or in there that are like, oh yeah, I remember the day in 1955 when
so 70 years
happened.
later.
50. Yeah. It's quite
I know we
time.
always think about like, 1955, that was like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
No, that was 70 years ago.
So Ennis notes that a preliminary report released earlier this week by the Bolivar County Coroner's Office indicates no evidence of foul play. But Ennis, who was white, added, quote, "We recognize that this is not only about facts, it's about emotions. And it's about feelings and the way this loss and how it was discovered affects people's lives. And I'll further say that I admit I am not adequate to speak to the imagery that this incident raises. I acknowledge my weakness in that regard." So,
All right, so new rule.
Then he got down, he knelt.
Okay, new rule for black people if they're going to commit suicide, don't hang yourself.
It's not, I mean, it's
detrimental
damaging. Yeah.
to people's feelings.
And also don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like don't do that. There's still hope.
But if you're going to,
yeah.
just don't hang yourself from a tree if you're going to kill yourself. Of course, I'm joking.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm against death. And I just find what he says odd here. It's like that this is not only about facts, it's about emotions and feelings. Now, yes, there is an emotional and a feeling response to someone dying. We all have that, and it's incredibly sad and disturbing, even if it reminds you of, something from in the past or whatever. But to then try to spin it as like, this is why racism is still alive in America.
Well,
and to try to spin it and like say his name. Why is the media not covering this? Clearly, we live in race. Look, America is systemically racist. That's what they're trying to say.
They're trying to do this, that like get BLM going on this thing right now.
Yes.
And all indications, there is no indication of anything other than this was a suicide. And there are cameras all over the campus. They're going to be able to figure this out. By the way, they said, based on preliminary examination, we confirmed that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death, the coroner's office said in a statement. So there's nothing here. But Ben Crump is out talking about this. The NAACP is out making a statement about this. Let's see. They said you'd have to excuse our skepticism amidst the growing racially motivated violence targeted at our communities across this nation. Is there a growing racially motivated violence targeted happening right now? I could be. I'm not saying there isn't. I would question whether or not the stats bear that out. I don't know. It could be the case.
That's the thing. They're trying to use this incident to spin a narrative. Which is gross, by the way. It's gross to like the actual racism that does or might occur.
Yeah.
Like there are people that probably experience racism. And there are people who are still racist, which I think is wrong. And so you're discrediting like those real things.
You're crying wolf.
For something that, this guy killed himself. We should be mourning that.
Probably.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah. There's going to be video evidence.
No, Costco. Like he was not physically attacked according to the evidence. Mm-hmm. The evidence is no broken bones, no lacerations,
no bruises,
no evidence of any altercation or assault or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just they found him hanging in a tree.
And since it was in a tree, they want to try and get BLM going. Is essentially what we're seeing right now. So anyway, I find that to be disgusting, distasteful, insubordinate, churlish, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, now number two. There were these two bills that got passed earlier in the week, and this might be the first time that I've ever said this out loud on the show, but I had a disagreement with Thomas Massey. Now, Thomas Massey is not the core dumb of this dumb, but I will question one of the things that he voted against here. And there could be some rationale for why. He hasn't really given it. So Greg Price posted out, Thomas Massey was just the only Republican who voted against bills requiring D.C. to charge people aged 18 to 24 as adults and lowering the age to 14 that people in D.C. can be tried as adults for first-degree murder, sexual assault, armed robbery, and assault. Now, the important thing to note and this distinction here is that they are two separate bills. Because when I first read it, it sounded like it was a bill that both required them to charge people 18 to 24 as adults and lowered the age of charging people as adults potentially down to 14 at the judge's discretion, or whoever's discretion it's going to be, probably the judge's. They are, in fact, two separate bills. He voted against both of them. So to get out my disagreement initially with Thomas Massey here, I would say, I have no idea why you would charge anyone that is in the age range of 18 to 24 not as an adult. I think that we draw the line at when someone is an adult, we settle on that age, and then that's the age that someone is an adult. And
we have laws that are 18 and 21. So
well, I'm saying we need to draw the line at when someone is an adult, and then they're an adult at that time. They got the rights of adults.
Still idiots
at that age
till about 30.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, 18 to 24, you can say, well, your prefrontal cortex isn't fully formed until 25, and so you could make the argument that like 18 to 24, there's a little bit more leniency there for people. But I think when you're an adult, you're an adult. And that's the way that it should be in a law. He could have voted against it because this is Congress going over the top of DC's current rules. Like, they can make rules, but then Congress can like override stuff because it's DC. And
what else is in the bills?
In this one, I didn't see. It's very short.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very short. And so that it requires 18 to 24 to be treated as adults. Right now, it's at discretion. And so I would like to hear, I just want to know, I'm not saying that there's not a reason I wouldn't agree with this. I wanted to hear Thomas Massey's reasoning on this, and he really has posted nothing except for posting about the Epstein files. And that's the thing that he had to say after the votes on this bill. And I think people deserve like a little bit more explanation on something like 18 to 24 that's going to be pretty popular. But all we got was that he's wants them to release the Epstein files, and they should release the Epstein files. But there is room to, in my opinion, my humble opinion, there's room to talk about some other stuff every once in a while too, just a little bit, like giving an explanation on your votes, every now and then, which he does quite often. And so, anyhow, I just want to say that out loud. Now, the other part, where it gets dumb for people on the right, in my opinion. I cannot. I really can't, and I know even people in the group will disagree with me on this. I don't understand how you can say the 14-year-old could be charged as an adult. I really don't. And it does not. I know you're going to say, well, first-degree murder.
You're talking about like freshmen, sophomores in high school.
There is a reason that we say like 14 is not an adult, and we have that rule for other things, which is where Thomas Massey drew the relation to the Epstein files and sex trafficking and stuff like that. And we decide that people that are that age can't consent to things. Why can't they consent to things? Because they can't fully understand the ramifications of anything. They can't think into the future. They don't like that. Sure, they know someone has told them, but you don't fully understand what that means. Like, it's wrong to kill someone, or it's wrong.
They don't understand the implications of their actions, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason. And so
I heard that in a movie once.
For the same reason that we do it with like sexual assault of a minor, which would be at 14, or like saying that an adult can't have relations with a minor. The same reason that we say that is because we say that minor cannot make those decisions, or the same reason we say, well, that minor can't decide to have sex change surgery when they're 14 years old. They don't understand what that means for the rest of their life. They're thinking right now, in the moment, in the immediate. They don't get it. And so for all those same reasons,
Here's a good question from Magoo, which is, what if it's to stop adult gang members from using minors to murder, knowing they won't be punished as an adult? Well, in your question, you said it out loud. It's adult gang members using minors to murder. That's coercion. The fault is not squarely on the minor. Yes, they committed the act, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be punished for it, but they were coerced into doing it.
Yeah, and And yeah, sure. I'm sure they pick them because I guess they can be charged as a minor or whatever, or because they're easy to manipulate and easy, they want to be respected by the older person. And so they'll go do it. They want to be led into the gang so they can be cool and all that. And so they'll do it. And that's because they have young, impressionable, easily manipulable minds. And that's why we have all the different laws relating to underage people, all for the same reason. And so we can't decide that in one instance, the government decides you can be treated as an adult as a 14. You guys know the obvious thing that you can say afterwards. At what other point can you decide that a 14-year-old can make decisions as an adult? They can't. They're not an adult. They not when it comes to sex changes, anything like that. And
to your point, like if you guys have ever watched if you ever watched the shows, I think a lot of times they're even on Dateline or 48 Hours or other shows that go over like how is it possible that some of these predators can get 14 and 15-year-old girls, to do these certain things, to sneak out of the house and all that stuff. It's because they don't understand. They're impressionable minds. They have no understanding or real ideas of what the consequences are. They don't know they're being manipulated by a disgusting perpetrator. They don't know those types of things, and yet they'll still hide conversations from their parents and sneak out of the house and try to see this person. It's like you can't. That's why it's called statutory rape. Even if the child wanted it, you could make that argument. Well, she came on to me. Well, no, sir, you're disgusting because that's a child. You manipulated that child. You should have never entertained it. You should have been the adult in the room saying no. That's why those laws exist. It's important to understand that kids can't consent. And this is a big conversation in libertarian groups, which turns out in a lot of times to be disgusting to me. But children cannot understand or know what they are doing.
Yeah, and people on the right have made this argument plenty when it comes to the trans stuff. You can just use the trans stuff. They've made the argument plenty, and they understand it. And even if you talk about some of these comments that I brought in here under some of these posts, this person says, nope, at 14, you know what you're doing, especially if it's criminal or violent. This person says, I'm very comfortable trying a 14-year-old for murder if the circumstances fit. I would like to know if these people would also support putting the 14-year-old to death if they commit a murder. The death penalty also for 14-year-olds?
Right.
Is that another thing you would like to do? This person says...
We'll just call it a portion.
Yeah, because killing that kid doesn't bring the person they killed back. And so what you're... I don't know. When a 14-year-old psychopath commits a cold-blooded murder and beyond the shadow of a doubt that if ever released, he'll do it again. Dude, I must have missed the information these people have, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt what someone is going to do in the future.
Minority Report.
I missed that one. Yeah. I don't know. I know a lot of people are repeat offenders, and you can make if you're a betting man, are you going to bet that this person's going to do this again? Sure, you could throw some money on the table and make a bet and have a higher likelihood than not of winning that bet. But it's not knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're going to do this again at all. Our criminal justice system does not. Yeah. Then this person says, given the types of crimes that are being committed and the frequency with which individuals will repeat offending, there is nothing to be gained by holding back. And none of those things, talking about the crimes or criminal or violent or first degree or whatever, that none of those things escape from the fact that as a society, when it comes to other things, we say that a 14-year-old cannot consent to things because they can't rationally think about ramifications for the future. And either they can or they can't. And I'm saying... You don't want to go down the rabbit hole of, well, for some people, sure, they can understand. They understand the future. They understand the implications of their actions. Okay. Guess that's a principle. If you want to have that.
No, it doesn't mean you can't punish them. Obviously, we have punishments for that. If you want to add, 20 years of probation to say, if you mess up whenever, under your probation, then you're going to get these consequences. And those types of things, we're not saying that there shouldn't be a punishment, but they should not be tried as adults. They're not adults.
Yeah.
It's very, how can you, this is what's so wild to me is that we can just arbitrarily decide, like, okay, you're an adult for these few things, but you're not for all these others. And in fact, even in criminology, we're going to decide that you can be tried as an adult if you commit these certain things. But if someone commits these things against you, you're a child, and we're gonna make their punishment harsher because they did it to a child and not to an adult. It's why, like, think about that.
But what if that a child was capable of thinking like an adult? Does that mean that you shouldn't be charging them like they did something to a child? I don't know. Since we have pre-crime abilities now, I think we should be able to look into the potential future for that child and figure that out. Okay, let's see. 25 minutes in, we're starting number 3. This one is Tim Walsh. There we go.
This should be an easy one.
Yeah, he is heartbroken and angry about all the people we lost to gun violence this year. It's time to ban assault weapons. So we're going to listen to this.
Was this right after Charlie Kirk?
Yeah.
September 16th?
So we'll play this. He says one super dumb thing in this, surrounded by many other normal dumb things. Then there's one that's like really dumb towards the end.
This is super dumb.
Yeah, let's listen.
Nice.
Look, I've spent the last 2 weeks sitting in the living rooms of parents who sent their children to the first couple days of school and then buried them later when 116 bullets were fired in less than 2 minutes by an assault weapon, as they said in church. And this happens all across the country. And there's always a reason. You know, the Republicans are, you know, concerned about mental health, even though they voted against it. They're concerned that there's other things that we can do, but they've made it clear they don't want to do anything on guns. And look, I think, you know, folks say if you come back and don't get anything done, it's a failure. It's a failure burying children. And I don't know when it's going to stop. I've heard that saying, and I sat with those 20 families in my office as I was a member of Congress after Sandy Hook. And people said, once we've decided that we're not going to move anything after we shoot children, then that debate is over. I refuse to believe that. I'm a gun owner for a long time. I had the support of the NRA when they were still somewhat normal before they advocated for anything goes. And I'm going to push it. We do not need assault weapons. We do not need high-capacity magazines. We do not need ghost guns without serial numbers on them. We do not need these things, and that doesn't infringe upon your right to own firearms and to do the things you need to do. So I think the fight is worth it. I recognize the risks. I think there's a frustration.
I especially like the part in here where he says he wants to ban these weapons. I don't think we need this gun. I don't think we need this gun. I don't think we need this magazine. I don't think we need ghost guns. And that does not infringe on your right to own weapons. I thought, you know, overall, that's my favorite part. There were some other things that I liked in this video. But
look, we'll hand out muzzle loaders. Don't worry. You know, in fact, we're going to take over the gunpowder manufacturers, and you can get your government supplied gunpowder and lead.
The gunpowder manufacturers. Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna take those guys over. Okay, so we'll just leave that at number 3. We've talked about all the stuff with assault weapons and why we have a Second Amendment and all that plenty. And I, for one, think
for what we know about Charlie Kirk, it was just a standard bolt action rifle.
Bolt action, yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, obviously, it committed an assault.
Well, he's talking about a bunch of the kids that got killed in school, but what he forgot is that some of those kids actually had the capability to think like adults, and so I don't think we should count them. No, just kidding. Did you guys hear how dumb that sounded?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go on to number 4. Sorry, I just went right back into number 2 right there, but let's go into number 4. Okay, so we're going to do some reactions to the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel, the temporary suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. I don't really know what the proper term is for it right now.
Well, he's indefinitely suspended.
Okay.
That's it, which means there's no timetable.
The indefinite suspension, roughly until the next president takes office. Indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. So Barack Obama had words to say about this.
This is hilarious.
He said, after years of complaining about cancel culture, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators it doesn't like.
using my rules.
Yes, and I'm sure you. I don't know if you saw my response to this, but
No.
I think it's the best. I think you'll agree with me. I don't remember exactly what I said, though, except for the fact that Obama, while criticizing what the Trump administration is doing, is assuming that you're going to forget that he used his DOJ to spy on a political opponent, and then also used his IRS to target conservative political organizations. That was a
also
scandal
used
that happened.
his FCC to write the rules and revamp the FCC to look into certain things that happened under his administration.
They were trying to start the process of going after all the conservative talk radio shows and local news and stuff like that. And so since they do have these rules, like the FCC does have these rules, and by the way, like what the Trump administration is doing, while I technically disagree with them doing it because I think it's going to open a whole can of worms, it's within the rules of the FCC and the licensing to do what they're doing. And so what Obama was trying to do was go to these radio stations and to these local news stations and see, like, are you guys fairly covering things? Are you covering healthcare? You know, we had Obamacare during that. Are you guys covering healthcare and the environment and all these important public interest things? Are you guys giving adequate airtime to the other political ideologies and all that? And they were going to compile this big report, and they were going to find that all of these networks and all of these people that were licensed broadcasters were not adhering to the FCC rules, and then they were going to use that to go after them. But there was such an uproar that they were doing this that they ended up stopping it. And so that
also, I'll give credit to Libertariat in the group here. They also prosecuted Assange and Snowden and put Ross Ulbricht in jail.
Obama put Ross.
That was
Ulbricht in
Obama's
jail?
administration.
Okay.
Yep, he was arrested in 2013, and so, yep, Obama, we know you're for freedom. We understand that you are not dangerous, and this administration is dangerous.
Yeah.
God, you should go to. I like. There's other words I wanted to say that I stopped myself from saying them.
What?
You know, because I start to get frustrated and angry.
Yeah.
I was going to call him an effing sleazebag.
I thought you were going to say the N word.
Oh no, I would never call him nefarious.
Nazi.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, I would never
just
say.
making sure.
I would never go that far.
All right. Just
God.
making sure.
Yeah, never mind. He gave guns to the cartels.
Yeah.
But who was it that said he had a scandal-free presidency?
I have a lot of people say that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Obama's only scandal was wearing a tan suit. No, there were scandals. There were things
Lots of
that
them.
happened. Okay, Kamala Harris said, what we are witnessing is an outright abuse of power. This administration is attacking critics and using fear as a weapon to silence anyone who would speak.
From the vice president who tried to implement the Ministry of Truth.
I can't even finish her. I can't even. We just did this. We know that the administration was specifically targeting social media companies and specifically targeting like by name voices that they did not like, that they wanted those companies to silence so they could not speak to people.
We just saw the Twitter files.
This just happened. She's fresh off of it. She's 8 months off of being the vice president of the United States in an administration that was literally doing these things. And she's out here talking about how this administration is attacking critics and using fear as a weapon to silence anyone who would speak out.
Oh, God. Okay, this is the super dumb one. I don't need to go any further. I know that this is the dumbest.
I want to skip it. There's other people that have said dumb things, like Leader Jeffries coming out talking about Brendan Carr, who he calls the so-called chairman of the Federal Communications Commission. I don't get that one.
Or you just put chairman in quotes.
It's like a Trump thing. The chairman of the... He is literally the chairman of the FCC. Has engaged in the corrupt abuse of power, disgraced the office he holds by bullying ABC, the employer of Jimmy Kimmel, forcing the company to bend the knee to the Trump administration, and someone on X.
No, go back, because this is the most important part. Donald Trump and the Republican Party's war on the First Amendment is blatantly inconsistent with American values.
So dude, it is September, and last September, Biden was in office.
Yes.
Okay. It's September this year right now. Trump took office at the end of January of this year. That's how short the time has gone by for the Democrats to start talking about how it's an abuse of the First Amendment to try and censor speech or go after people that are saying things that you don't like.
Yep.
That's how quickly this can turn around.
Yeah.
And by the way, vice versa for the people on the right.
Yes.
Just so you know, that's
And
politics.
every single one of them are going to be, what I mean by that is all the influencers and all the lefties are just going to be eating this up. Mm-hmm. I mean, never mind that their party was the one trying to do the exact same thing. So much so that they literally started the Ministry of Truth.
Yeah.
And only dismantled it because it received so much backlash.
This is a letter that Hakeem Jeffries sent to Rupert Murdoch of Fox News in March of 2023. Okay, March of 2023, where he says, we demand, this is an official letterhead from Congress, from Hakeem Jeffries to the person who owns Fox News, saying, we demand that you direct Tucker Carlson and other hosts on your network to stop spreading false election narratives and admit on air that they were wrong to engage in such negligent behavior, as evidenced by January 6th. Moment of silence. Insurrection, spreading this false propaganda could not only embolden supporters of the big lie to engage in further acts of political violence, but also deeply and broadly weakens faith in our democracy. So, by the way, the things that you are allowing the people on TV to say are going to lead to violence and bordering on incitement, which gets around the idea of free speech. And so just letting you guys know that you guys have a clear choice. You can continue a pattern of lying to your viewers and risking democracy, or move beyond this damaging chapter in your company's history by siding with the truth. It sounds a lot, not so much like the choice that Brendan Carr said to ABC, like we can do this the easy way or the hard way, but this is coming from Congress. Representative Eric Swalwell, he posted out, of course, this is in response to Trump canceling Jimmy Kimmel. This is toning down this is actually getting the rhetoric toned down a little bit here. So I appreciate him for doing this. Actually, he says in 1934, Germany passed a law making it a crime to tell jokes or laugh at its leaders. We can't go down that road because what's next is you can't post what you want on social media.
Just want to punch him in the face. Yeah. Especially as a podcast and media company that was directly affected. And still to this day, we're battling out, trying to come out from underneath the waves of censorship.
There's still something on our YouTube. Like yesterday's episode got flagged, and I had to do an appeal on yesterday's episode. And you know how many shows there are out there that play a clip from the news on their show? Like all of them.
All of them.
We can't do it. When we do it, we get demonetized. It's the most ridiculous thing, which disfavors you in the algorithm.
Oh,
so
of course.
Every time you guys see us play a clip from the news on this show, we have gotten demonetized and deprioritized in the algorithm every single video that we do.
And then we have to dispute it. Usually we win the dispute, but the damage is already done.
Yeah.
That the video's not being surfaced. No one's searching for it.
And this all stems from after we got flagged and all that because we read things that the CDC said during COVID times. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, the dumb here, we can't go down that road. What's next is you can't post what you want on social media. My God. Okay. And then that's number 4. Number 5, some of the responses from the right on this. I actually don't have the video. I did watch the video. I know what's in the video, so you guys know. Sean Hannity says he can't, in talking about what the Democrats are saying on this whole FCC and ABC thing, not letting them be. He says, I can't find a single prominent conservative voice in the country that even remotely wanted or was pushing to get Jimmy Kimmel taken off of the air, except for literally the guy who's the chair of the bureaucratic apparatus that would take the license away from the networks.
Or stop a deal from...
Yeah. Or the other people in the FTC deciding not to approve a merger. There was clearly words said, jawboning this happening. What I want from people, let me read this one first. Ilya Shapiro says 3 things can be true. Number 1, Kimmel was losing money for the network affiliates, so ABC seized on this to oust him.
Sure.
I think that's part of it. I think it's good cover for them. Number 2, there was thus no government coercion here, let alone the tech government collusion of the Biden years. And number 3, FCC statements were unhelpful because it makes it look like the threat of government action for bad viewpoints. What I want people on the right to just come out and say is, like, defend the actions. If we're going to do this thing where the person who runs the FCC goes on air and threatens to remove licenses from people for whatever speech is happening on their platform,
Or threatens business deals from...
like, live up to it. Like when Brendan Carr is talking about it, he is making the case for why we are well within our purview, and here are the things that they are doing wrong, and this is not adhering to the public interest, and actually we see this has been so relaxed for a long time that these all these things have just become one-sided bleep shows, and in fact, since this is a public airwaves, they're supposed to be evenly split between, political ideologies and all that. And he actually makes the case for it. But for people coming out and saying, no, this is just a business decision by ABC. That's all it is. There's nothing to see here that has nothing to do with the FCC threatening anything or Trump threatening anything. Like,
Of course.
Just own up to it. Make the case. You can make a pretty good case. You really can. And so just do that. Don't do like what the Biden administration would do or previous administrations would do and just act like nothing to see here the whole time. Say, no, here's the rules. Here's the rules.
Well, they do that because they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's why. They try to pull the wool over your eyes. But it turns out most Americans aren't that dumb. We found the dumbest. That's why you listen to this show.
Some of these I got to get to this one because it's going to take probably the most amount of time. So we're going to skip over a couple of the other right-wing things and get to dumb bleep number 6.
So that was number 5, or you skipped 5?
That was number 5.
Okay.
The right-wing response to the Kimmel thing.
Okay,
Some of it.
There was number 4, which was
Left wing.
Okay.
Then the right wing. And now we got to this one. Clever title, and the video clip has to be called this too. It's going to be called Trump and Bondi Hate Speech. But it's Trump and Bondi on hate speech.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I think that's a pretty clever play on words. I think I got good genes. You know what I mean? So this one starts with a clip from Trump, and then it's going to be a whole lot of Pam Bondi, and then one more little kiss of death by Trump at the end of it. The first one, let me get the video pulled up here. Bear with. Did you feel that silence just then? That was so tough.
It sounds fine to
for me to endure.
Yeah.
Did you not?
It didn't bother me one bit.
Really? Let's see here.
Or bit.
Or either one of them.
Not a bent or a bit.
Yeah. You don't need help. You're not bent. All right, here we go. President
If you
Trump.
want me to fill the silence, earlier before the show, I had to hang a light in the stairwell. And
was that all that noise was?
It's kind of scary. I got it though.
Good job.
Now what happened with Trump?
This is posted by Fire. President Trump suggested today that the media outlets are engaging in hate speech by being unfair to him and maybe should be prosecuted.
Oh, God.
And so this clip was a funny one, and then we'll do some Pam Bondi.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
She'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you.
No, I don't think that was that bad.
No, it is that bad.
No.
It is that bad.
He's trolling this guy. He's not saying that. In my opinion, like, this is my first reaction to watching this. Maybe you'll convince me I'm wrong. I think he's trying. What he's saying is maybe they'll go after you. You know, you're hateful.
Yeah, he works for ABC, and the next day ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, okay.
So,
but I don't think he was saying that I'm going to direct my administration.
Yeah.
You know,
the thing that I had that was dumb in here is what his supposed definition of hate speech is, and I believe him. And I think this is what he is going to use to say is hate speech. Being very unfair to me, that's hate.
So he is Hitler.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying he's Hitler. No. We've been calling American presidents fascists for a long time. I got no problem using the F word, but I don't mean it in the sense of, murdering entire groups of people and marching across Europe trying to, not like that. America's been economically fascist since, at least the early 1900s. It's just been the thing. We're libertarians here. Of course it's authoritarian.
Well, yeah,
Of course it is. So
I take this as more, and I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, but just my first reaction to that is more tongue in cheek.
yeah, well, you could be right.
He's done this with the media, and I think he knows it gets a lot of views and clicks. He's done this with the media a lot by saying, you're a fake news. And even when he calls on the reporter, oh, who do you work for? MSNBC, fake news.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your fake question? And so that when the reporter's asking, he's like, maybe I should come after you. Like he's just.
And then he comes after them.
Where's the evidence that they've actually come after them, though? I'm not saying that what the FCC did on the podcast wasn't wrong. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
But
what's funny is they actually have the right to do that.
But I haven't seen any prosecutions come out.
No, I mean there's been lawsuits and stuff that they settled and all that.
Civil, but that was
I think that was
slander.
George Stephanopoulos that said that he raped E. Jean Carroll. Pretty sure. I think that's what that lawsuit was, and of course he was not found liable or guilty or whatever you call it in the civil court for rape. So. All right. Now we'll get to Pam Bondi here in a second. I promise you'll think the last Trump one is dumb. That's just a warm up there for you.
I'm not saying that's not dumb.
Here's Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi had a day. You're going to find in the next 3 clips she's wearing the same outfit, and so she went on. She had a day here for sure.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially
right
now,
there, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's already done.
It's just that there's free speech and there's hate speech. Nope.
No,
they're not two different things, Pam. So that right there,
and then
super dumb.
Did you say Pan?
Pan? And then,
okay.
Yeah.
There's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see
and I hate that.
more
My
law
God, she goes,
enforcement going after?
especially now, especially with what happened to Charlie.
Yeah.
You're using this tragedy to make your point.
That's what people in power do, man.
Disgusting whore.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if I can get away with that.
Yeah. We'll see. We're going to get demonetized anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
After these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action.
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle. There's free speech.
All right.
All right. So
maybe the right wants the ministry of truth after all.
Yeah, maybe. So she saw, I actually didn't, in response to this video, I did not see a single person, prominent voice on the right, like agreeing with her at all. Now I'm going to tell you the black pill. It's because she said the words hate speech. But everything that she decides is hate speech, but uses different words because those words are triggering because of all the trauma that we've gone through over the last 5 years. Everything that she decides is hate speech, they'll be totally fine with going after. It's just they don't want it to be called hate speech. They want it to be called something else. I don't know what the name is, but hate speech is a triggering phrase.
Anti-conservative speech. Yeah.
So she comes out, she says, hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. Yeah, no shit. That's not hate speech.
That's threats of violence.
That's threats of violence.
Yes.
Okay. It's a crime. For far too long, we've watched the radical left normalize threats, call for assassinations, and cheer on political violence. That era is over. Now, making threats, you can't do that. You can actually call for things as long as it's not like direct incitement. Okay?
Yeah.
And people might not like that or whatever, but you can't.
Yeah.
That's not hate speech.
Now, hypothetically, if I would be violating the law if I were to, call Nate, if I were to call Nate on the phone and say, hey, I'm going to kidnap you and I'm going to hold you for ransom. And once your mom gives me the millions of dollars she's holding, I'm going to murder you.
I thought it would have like a good ending afterwards, like we'd split the cash or something like that. But
no, I went full bore.
Yeah, just all the way.
All the way.
So you just made a threat. And I'm a smart guy. I know when Charlie calls me, I record it.
So
I caught it. I caught the phone call on a recording.
Yeah.
And then you just made a threat to murder me.
Now that's not hate speech. You could think that would be hateful to do.
It is technically hateful.
It is, yes.
Yes.
But it's a threat. I'm saying, hey, here's what I'm gonna do this, And Nate doesn't have to wait for me to start doing that thing.
No.
Nate could call the cops and say, hey, I don't know if this is true or not, but this guy called me. He's my best friend of 25 years. But he called me and said these things, man. You might want to investigate that.
Now, if you call the cops in Antioch, Tennessee, and tell them about this, they're going to be like, "Well, no one's
victim,
been hurt.
No crime.
No one's been hurt." They're very libertarian over there, and they're like, "Well, there's no victims yet, so there's nothing. There's no report for us to write. Really, it'd be a really boring report. So we're not going to do anything about it. You'd have to be in the Fed Haters Club to know what we're talking about, but that goes out to the fine folks over there. And
now, look, I'm protected
police.
Because I said if,
Yeah, you haven't done that.
I said, hypothetically, if I were to call Nate and this scenario played out, but I haven't called you. Doesn't matter that you're sitting across from me.
She says, it is a federal crime to transmit any communication containing any threat to kidnap any person or any threat to injure the person of
I could have just injured you, not murdered.
Not even injure there. 100.
Okay, I'll change my story. Everything is true except instead of murdering you at the end, I'm going to just step on your foot.
Great bodily harm.
And then we can split the cash.
Let's see. It's felony to threaten public officials, members of Congress, or their families. She's still talking about threats. But what she's trying to do is, well, when I said hate speech, I'm talking about literally things that are already illegal and we've already decided are illegal. And I'm just calling that hate speech because you got hate in your heart when you say stuff like that. And so therefore that's hate speech. That's what she's doing right now without outright doing that. She says, you cannot call for someone's murder. You cannot swat a member of Congress. You cannot dox a conservative family. So when people say
that you should 86 someone, is that calling for that person's
If
murder?
They mean it as calling for someone's murder, the problem is you can do that.
You can call for someone's murder.
Yeah, it's like not a smart thing to do.
Okay.
But now you can't like directly say, hey, Charlie, hypothetically. You can't just say like, hey, I want you to go murder that guy right there. Okay. Yeah. But if you're like, I think this person.
There's nobody there.
No, I know. Which is why there's no threat right there. If you're like, I think this person should be murdered. That's not illegal.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to say.
What if you say someone should murder this person?
I'm pretty sure you can still say that too.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Let's see. Free speech protects ideas, debate, even dissent. What about like, I have an idea. Someone should murder that guy.
Yeah. Well, what you said is perfectly fine because
right now. Yeah. Even dissent, but it does not and will never protect violence. It doesn't protect actual violence or incitement to violence. This has been decided, or a threat of violence that you're going to commit against someone else.
In fact, Charlie Kirk said speech is not violence.
It's literally not. It's speech.
Yes.
It is clear this violent rhetoric is designed to silence others from voicing conservative ideals. We will never be silenced, not our families, not our freedoms, and never. Okay.
She brought Charlie into it again.
Yeah, got to bring Charlie in there. Never for Charlie. His legacy will not be erased by fear or intimidation. If anyone's going to erase his legacy, it's going to be me. That's what she said there at the end. Let's see. The context here, U.S. Constitution protects most violent speech. The Supreme Court ruled it legal to justify or celebrate violence or advocate or teach the duty, necessity, or propriety of it, but not incitement to imminent violence, like telling a mob with weapons to go kill someone. I'm pretty sure you can say, I want someone to do this.
Oh, Okay. Yeah.
We could test it, but I don't have time.
Or
to
I could
deal with
say
that
like,
today.
if someone kills this guy, I will celebrate it.
Well, you can say that. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Says the Supreme Court. Yeah, I guess so.
That's what they say anyway.
Interesting.
Let's see. She's still wearing the same outfit here. Let's see what she had to say on this one.
Sure. First Amendment is one of our most important amendments, of course, in our Constitution. We will always protect the First Amendment. But you cannot create violence, and that's what's happening. When people are working together, you talked about RICO, it's RICO. When people are working in concert to commit crimes, the president was talking about people who are breaking up bricks, throwing it at police cars, people who are being paid to dox police officers, to dox victims of crimes, that can jeopardize lives, and that's when you cross the line from First Amendment to a crime, and we will prosecute.
Yeah, I mean,
But what does that have to do with, and again, morally, I disagree with someone celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and I'm not even against them being fired from their jobs, but what are you going to prosecute there?
So what?
That's not, sure, it's hateful, it's distasteful, it's disgusting, it's abhorrent. I morally disagree with people who say those things, but should they be in jail because of it?
The dangerous part here, of course, is that if And hey, once again, like they tried to do this like with Trump, like saying that he incited a riot on January 6th with his speech. Like they're literally under the things I've heard them say so far, Trump would be guilty of like hate speech or whatever it is that they want to call this thing.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't tell people to go directly do this or whatever, like literally telling a group of people and then they go do something. But
well, he literally said that you should march to Washington.
Peacefully and patriotically.
He did say peacefully and patriotically, but he said, hey, you should go march.
Well, he wanted the marching to be peaceful and patriotic, but when they got there, you got to burn stuff down, you know? I just, they got to be.
Then he said, we got to fight this.
Fight. Yeah.
Fight.
Them's fight. That's a fighting word if I ever heard it.
Would you want an administration to put Trump in jail for his hate speech? We were against it then too.
It's just if any right winger commits some kind of act of violence against a lefty or whatever, like what are you going to do? Like go after TPUSA or whatever for like spreading this hate to that? You know, they're going to have to be more clear here.
Where,
she had a bad day. I don't think she slept the night before
this is
or
where
after.
People's principles go awry, and it's our duty to explain to you how your principles should be sound. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, I mean, because hey, I'm 38 years old. I plan on living to at least 50, which means I got more time left where Trump is not the president than I have left when he is the president.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm thinking past and looking at the next government. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You don't want to set your sights too high.
That way I'm surprised, I make it past 50, you'll feel pretty good about that,
Your 51st birthday, I'll be there and be like, we never thought we'd see this day.
When it comes to life, you want to under-promise and over-deliver.
Okay.
On ages.
Yeah.
So here's another one. And this...
Oh, still the same suit.
Yeah, so she had a day, man.
Yeah, she had a day and a night.
We're still on Dumb Bleep number 6 right now. 7 more to go.
God.
They'll be fast, though. They'll be really fast, I promise.
Yeah,
this one she ends up talking about Office Depot, and there was this thing that happened where someone went to Office Depot to print off like a poster of Charlie Kirk for a vigil for Charlie Kirk, and some Office Depot employees like refused to print it off because it was like political or whatever. And Office Depot...
This is the bake the cake situation.
It literally is the bake the cake situation. They fired one of the people. The other two, there were 3 people there, I believe. They fired one. I don't know about the other 2 right now. Hey, I think that's an absolutely terrible thing for them to do. I think Office Depot does not have a policy where you can decide randomly and arbitrarily to refuse service to someone because they don't suit your political beliefs or anything. So I'm sure they violated Office Depot's code of conduct.
I'm sure like you can't print a giant poster of porn or something.
And I'm sure they've got that in the
policies.
Policies, And so I'm sure all the people there, or at least that person that refused it, already deserved to be fired. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Also, if Office Depot wanted to decide that they were going to make this a company-wide policy and not print off posters of Charlie Kirk, then that's fine too. But let's listen to Pam Bondi talk about this.
That's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that. But Sean...
So you should be forced to bake the cake then.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
Basically.
That's a massive flip for Republicans here. And anyone on the right. Anyone in MAGA. That's a pretty big flip.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like MAGA and Gary Johnson think that you should be forced to bake the cake.
Even though they thought that you shouldn't. This is the problem with, and see, this is why I don't like both sides. Like they have no problem with authoritarianism as long as it's their ideas being implemented. You know, like,
because both sides that believe that their ideas are correct and the right way for a country to operate.
Right.
And like if they didn't believe that, then they wouldn't have the ideas. I get that.
Exactly.
I realized that I cut you off, and so I was like, I'm just going to stop.
That's fine. I was just I started listening to you. It's
I've decided to be okay with awkward silence today.
Good.
I'm in a good mood.
Let's just let it happen.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say, Nate, is on that point of baking the cake. What was that? 10 years ago, maybe?
I don't know.
2016, 2015. Yeah, 10 years ago now. God bless America. You know, back when Gary Johnson was running for president.
Freaking time, man.
It was Trump and Hillary. Mm-hmm. And Gary Johnson was running and was asked a question and totally was not libertarian in his response. And people, they're fine with authoritarianism on either side as long as it's their side, their ideals. And look, I'm not saying that I technically disagree with you wanting to live that way. My point is, though, is that I morally disagree on a couple of different fronts, which is that when you're in business, you have, like what Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy sneakers too. Like you should be in business to set an example for the people that you're willing to serve others, especially in a Christian sense. You're willing to serve others that you disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Like WWJD, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you think Jesus was a baker instead of a carpenter, you know, did he not build houses for people that he disagreed with?
I don't know what the answer
No,
is.
he
to that.
did.
Yeah.
He did because if I have my history correct, Jesus was largely responsible for helping build. I can't remember what city it was, and I think it was in Galilee. But he was largely responsible for helping carpenter an entire like village.
He was carpenting.
He carpented. You know,
carpented.
And so do you think there were people there that he built things for that he disagreed with? Probably 100%. You know?
And so what you're saying is now we're on the Christian cake baker thing right now. And like, the answer is probably
it's the same principle.
Probably Jesus wanted you to do that. And
what I'm saying is Office Depot should have printed it. But if they don't want to print it, that's up to them.
Yeah, I don't care. I think I think a business should be able to discriminate against anyone for any reason. So that just happens to be what I
especially if you don't have any shoes or a shirt on.
They can do that. That's fine. And it's literally your property. How can you not tell someone that's on your property what you will or will not do for them? That's
at my business, if you don't have shoes or a shirt, you can come right in.
Mm-hmm. That's preferred, actually.
I wouldn't say that. I'm just
preferred.
Saying, I don't discriminate.
It's preferred. Okay, here's this video. We got to go. We'll have to take a bathroom break before the back half of this episode. I'll tell you that.
Fine.
Okay, here is the last one. This is Trump and someone from Fox News. I don't watch it enough to know this person's name. There's a little thing in here that Trump says. This is only an 11-second clip. Just so you know, I found the entire segment. I listened to it. There's no additional context needed to this clip. It doesn't help at all. So they're talking about hate speech. She brings up Charlie Kirk. And you might hear what Trump says here at the end.
Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie. But you have always been. Charlie said, that there.
So on the
Did
idea
you say that he might not be saying that now?
Yeah. He's implying that
he's dead.
Well, first off, he's literally not saying that now, but then also he's implying that Charlie Kirk
would have changed his mind.
Changed his mind on hate speech now that this happened to him. And so first off, it's one thing for everyone to be like, well, the last time I talked to Charlie, this is what he was telling me. And the last time I did it, this is what he was telling me. And then they're like, I don't think Charlie would have liked that. Look at these old X posts from him. And look at this video where he said this. It's another thing to decide for yourself that Charlie Kirk would now have changed his viewpoint on something to align with something your administration wants to do. Well, you might have. I don't know. Okay. Pretty big fan of the administration. That's a really gross thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And I think people who have good principles on things like something like hate speech or the Second Amendment or whatever, they're able to look past, well, what if something happened to me? Like, do you think Charlie Kirk changed his opinions on whether or not people should be allowed to own bolt-action rifles also from the grave?
Right
now? Like, no, I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that he thinks that we need to ban hate speech. He literally spent his time going around and talking to people that he disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that they're using this right now it's gone too far, in my opinion. It's at first, everyone's coming out and talking about how sad it is. And now it's like, it's blatantly obvious. Like, we are going to use this to achieve our policy goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're getting right now. And it sickens me.
Yeah. And this does happen emotionally to people. Like, I think about, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen in my life? Well, something could happen to my son. Let's say a school shooting. Not that I want that to happen, of course, to anyone, but I'm just hypothetically playing out the idea. Okay, what if that were to happen to my son? Would I now be in favor of banning guns? The answer to that, because I've played this scenario out in my head, is no. I would be completely devastated, not know how I would even continue in life if something like that happened to my child. I can certainly imagine what it's like for other parents because I have a kid, even though I can't quite, feel their feelings because it's not happened to me, but I can certainly understand the anger and frustration and wanting things to change and things like that. But I would never, I know because I'm principled in my stance that I would never advocate for the change to be that there needs to be less guns or a ban on assault weapons or whatever the case is. If this were to happen to my kid, what I would advocate for is stronger security at schools.
Yeah.
I would want more SROs, security resource officers, present in schools so this stopped happening. So you can't infer what someone would want from the grave unless they're sending their best.
Yeah, they're sending their best.
That's it.
They're wishing you well.
Exactly.
You could definitely assume
I'd
that.
want teachers to be allowed to carry. I would want more protection.
You would want more long-term studies into SSRIs. You would want all sorts of things because I want teachers to be armed now. Because logically, there's not a law they're going to make that's going to prevent all the shootings. That's not going to happen. And also, that if they went down the line of blocking people from getting guns, how dangerous that would be for hundreds of millions of people in the future. And so you can't advocate to take rights away from everyone because of something that happened to you.
I can tell you right now, you can bookmark this episode. If they take away guns in America, prison camps aren't too far behind.
It wouldn't be good. It's not going to happen. They literally can't take the guns.
No, they can't do it.
I'm just,
if that were to happen, I want people to go back to this episode specifically. I'm saying mark it.
Mark this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Even after I'm dead and gone.
Back half.
Okay.
Are you ready for the back stretch?
Number 7.
The bottom
Let's go. Let's see how fast we can do.
Oh, we can do this one real fast. We already talked about it. So this concerns Karen Atia. This one specifically goes really to this gal, Lori Garrett, on here, but to the overall idea. And we did a clip on this earlier in the week. This is definitely number 7. We did a clip on this earlier in the week, and it is the Charlie Kirk clip going around where he talks about Sheila Jackson-Lee, Michelle Obama, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, and someone else. I can't remember the other one. And then eventually says, we know you don't have the brain processing power to be taken really seriously. And this person posts out, the Washington Post fired Karen Atia because she quoted Charlie Kirk saying, quote, "Black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot," end quote. She added no comment, merely an accurate quote. Well, what's the problem here? It's literally
not the quote,
not an accurate quote. The words,
which someone very kindly points out to her.
Yes.
Yeah. To which she replies, "I transcribed it from the video."
Yeah. She's not making the claim. She's doubling down. So they say it's literally not a verbatim quote. In journalism, which you should know, getting quotes precisely correct is very important. She says, I transcribed it from the video.
I got to give her some credit because she did say, because she quoted Charlie Kirk saying, so now she's quoting the quoter.
Yes.
See,
yeah.
See how people like remove themselves? This is like, saying allegedly,
Yeah.
It's like you still said the thing. All right.
And her post has 3.4 million views. And then like this one right here, which is the side-by-side of J.D. Vance and then Charlie Kirk, which we played earlier in the week, has 10.9 million views right now, 31,000 reposts, 10.9 million views of him making this point. And so people just are going to live in their own realities on this thing, I guess. We got, but I put out the clip and it did pretty well. I can tell we went into the black YouTube algorithm, and so we got a lot of hateful comments on there and just people not living in the actual reality.
Hate speech?
Just,
Hate speech?
Which one?
In YouTube comments?
Yeah.
Hate
a lot
speech?
of hate speech.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm worried about violence, honestly. Yeah. So, okay, that's number 7. Here's number 8.
I'm aghast.
Just a easy one here from J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, where someone's asking, of course, they're talking about toning down the rhetoric here. And they asked him, well, what about you calling Republicans Nazis? Like calling Trump Nazis or Nazi, all that. And
you have called Republicans Nazis.
No, I have not. That is completely false. I have never called Republicans Nazis.
I'm glad you cleared that up because there are some.
Well, that's what they'd like to say. They're lying. They're lying.
I don't have to ask you to ask you that.
Well, that's not what I called them.
But are you as well?
Okay, so we got that.
Never call them a Nazi.
Unfortunately, the internet exists. And we'll just play a little bit of this right here.
The rhetoric that's being used by Donald Trump, the rhetoric that's being used by some of the MAGA extremists, is rhetoric that was used in the 1930s in Germany.
Mm-hmm. That the Nazis in Germany in the 30s tore down a constitutional republic in just 53 days. It does not take much, frankly, and we have a president who seems hell-bent on doing just that.
We have a very prominent figure who is very closely associated with the president standing up at a presidential rally and giving 2 Nazi salutes in a row. Literally 20 million Americans risk losing their health care just in the next few months. And
I continue to do despite what they may be doing to attack, again, working families across our state. The extremists on the Supreme Court have made...
All right, so we got a couple in there of him literally
Nazis.
calling people Nazis. So that's a real quick one right there. That's dumb enough to get its own dumb. For you to double down and be like, no, I've never done that. No, they are lying. They said that they are lying.
But do you hear how carefully he said it when he called them a Nazi, basically? I agree with Magoo's point. He alluded to it.
Yeah.
He didn't directly call him one.
Same thing Nate, the engineer, said in here. Didn't say it directly, but and that's, okay. And that could be that's your out right? They're not you guys. That's
somebody needs to call.
Somebody
needs to call Governor Ryan.
I didn't call them Nazis. I said that what they are doing is like what the Nazis did.
Yes,
I didn't call them Nazis. Just to be clear. So
I just related them.
Maybe I was wrong to put this in.
Somebody needs to call Governor Ryan back, take over Illinois. At least it was in a better position back then.
Could do that. He probably gets one phone call a day.
Even though I think he went to jail, and so did
he's out. I'm sure.
So did
joke. I don't know
who was the other guy that followed him. Blagojevich.
Yeah. Well, before that, Governor Edgar just passed away. Actually, that's the one that I met several times. Job shadowed him when I was in like the 7th grade or something like that. Hey,
old Edgar.
Not many people get the job shadow a governor.
Yeah,
when they're younger.
Pretty cool.
So, anyhow, that's what we got there. Number 9. This one goes to Destiny. Right here. Let me go to my Destiny tab. Destiny's just something else. Let me tell you what. He is, well, let me just play this clip here from Piers Morgan, where he refuses to condemn the violence or like the assassination of Charlie Kirk or political violence, refuses to do it because Trump hasn't toned down his rhetoric. And I'll just say it before he makes these points. I'm like, so I would assume Destiny probably thinks Trump is like one of the worst and most dangerous people in the country. It's like, what you're saying is you're going to be a jackass until the worst person in America decides to be a better person.
According to you, yeah.
Yeah, according to him. That's what he would say. So here's a clip of that.
Let me just ask you,
to deal with it.
Okay,
you're living in a
accusing the governor
fantasy.
of lying.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But
sure.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why would you expect anybody, Destiny?
I don't have this like strong feeling that people on the left have been turning down the temperature for a decade.
Nope.
I really don't. I could be wrong on that, but I've never heard a guy compared to Hitler so many times in my life. And you know what you would do if you could go back in time and visit Hitler. Everyone knows that. And so what happens when you repeatedly compare someone to Hitler?
Nate, though, I mean, I think you're getting this a little wrong. Remember, BLM was mostly peaceful.
It was.
These riots and burning of things is mostly, all this stuff that the left has done is mostly peaceful. Ferguson, mostly peaceful. I think you need to rethink this a little bit. It's like BLM was toned down.
Yeah.
Do you want to see what they're actually capable of?
They were the moderates.
Yeah. So
he won't condemn the violence because he said outright on this here stream that Republicans need to be afraid of getting killed when they go out and talk. And so here is that right here.
Shout out the crime statistics. Not exactly like
you need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's another way of saying he deserved it.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I'm just saying, like, when you say you need conservatives to fear getting killed, what you're saying is like you need them to fear getting killed so they'll watch what they're saying. And so they'll learn that there's just some things that you just can't say. So you need to put the fear of getting murdered by someone in that's what we need actually in our political lives, is the fear that you're going to get murdered if you say something. And, some people might agree. Some people might not. That's up to you. I don't know. That's number 9. Here's number 10. Keith Olbermann. He's still hanging around doing his thing, which is fine. He's talking about Charlie Kirk, of course. And here is this guy.
Now that we can say with some certainty that if Tyler Robinson indeed shot Charlie Kirk, he shot him for personal reasons because he saw Kirk as a direct threat to somebody he loved. That Robinson was not a stochastic proxy murderer from Antifa or the Groypers or the right-wingers who had so recently called Kirk a fraud, like Laura Loomer. It is then also clear that there is truly only one person whose words created, amplified, mainstreamed, and manufactured this nightmarish environment that has led to Charlie Kirk's death. The leading threat in this country, in this moment, to the safety and the lives of conservatives and Republicans and MAGA commentators and politicians and civilians is not George Soros, and it's not Antifa, and it's not a Democrat, nor a liberal, nor a socialist, nor an immigrant, nor a transgendered person. The leading threat in this country, in this moment, to the safety and the lives of conservatives and Republicans and MAGA is Donald Trump.
I'll cut in right here real quick. So it's not actually Donald Trump, just so you know, Keith. It's what the left will do to conservatives because they hate Donald Trump. So that still, the reason you would fear violence or whatever would still be because the people on the left are really mad about stuff that Trump does.
It's your reaction to Trump.
Then they're going
not Trump
to
himself.
Kill people potentially, or try to kill people. And so, and then
it's actually because of people like you.
Yeah.
Keith.
Well, I mean, don't give him that much credit. No one cares what this guy thinks. He's just, the only thing he does is create dumb bleep content. That's his whole purpose in life. Let's see what else he says.
Says he's saving up for a tripod. Got to put his phone on the china cabinet in the meantime. Let's send him a tripod.
Yeah, we can do
he
that.
can make better
so
videos.
We've got plenty around here.
We got a couple tripods for you, Keith.
Let's see what else he says.
Who's done the most to put the lives and welfare of all of us directly and also by his perverted lead and demonic inspiration of others is Donald Trump. The America in which Charlie Kirk was murdered, the America in which Melissa and Mark Hortman were murdered, the America in which Paul Pelosi was beaten, the America in which Donald Trump himself was shot, is Donald Trump's America.
No, this guy's gay.
Okay, number 11. We're going to get to that. That is Laura Loomer.
So she go to the bathroom again?
I figured I might as well. She does this thing where, well, I'll just read you this post here from Laura Loomer. You want me to put it on the screen?
I can't see it. Yeah.
Okay. The people who are deliberately lying and saying Israel killed Charlie Kirk are likely riddled with severe guilt over their support for the Palestinian movement, a radical left movement that aligned itself with the trans movement in the U.S. In a way, if you aligned with the Palestinian movement, you aligned with the trans movement. You supported leftist ideology that assassinated Charlie Kirk. And so I don't even have to read the rest of it. The idea here...
How do people like this get famous? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I can't for the life of me. It doesn't compute in my brain. Like, why do people follow her and interact with her and like her and listen to her god-awful show?
Oh,
I tried to listen to it.
She has a show?
Oh, she does, yeah.
Oh, God.
I tried to listen to it. I great intro. She's got a great intro.
Yeah.
With all kinds of like news clips and stuff. Laura Loomer.
Must have been made
Laura
by
Loomer.
Must have been made by Dan Smots over there at Dissonant Media.
Yeah, the guy, he does good work. And but then she starts in and I'm just like, oh my God. People listen to this stuff. How?
So the idea here is, and by the way, what she means by if you aligned with the Palestinian movement, she doesn't mean people that are out in the streets waving Palestinian flags or Hamas flags or anything. She means anyone who's critical of the government of Israel and their actions in Gaza.
Yeah.
And so like that is what I'm just telling you based on all of her posts, is that aligning with the Palestinian movement means you've been critical of the government of Israel, which means you align with the trans movement, which is what killed Charlie Kirk. So if you were critical of Israel, you killed Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm. You have guilt.
You must be feeling really guilty about this. She does this again. There's a flyer going around for Charlie Kirk's memorial service, which is on the 21st. So I guess that's on Sunday.
Yep,
looks like
Sunday.
So that's going around I'll withhold comments on that until we see the thing. Big list of speakers on here. A lot of people.
She used it to go after, I think, Tucker Carlson.
Candace.
Candace Owens. Like, why aren't you? If he's your friend, why aren't you? Why aren't you speaking?
So Candace Owens says, "Sorry guys, you murdered my friend. You unlocked the Inigo Montoya in me. We're not stopping until we get to the bottom of this thing." And she says, "If you're Charlie's best friend," point of order, she did not say that it was her best friend. She said, "You murdered my friend."
Yeah.
Okay. "If you're Charlie's best friend, how come you're not on the flyer as a speaker for his memorial service on Sunday? Who is you guys? Like, you guys murdered my friend. Are you speaking to the trans Antifa killers who like to attend free Palestine rallies? It's ironic seeing people accuse Israel of killing Charlie Kirk when the trans movement align themselves with the Free Palestine movement. Every conservative who emboldens the Free Palestine movement emboldens the trans movement too. They work together." Charlie understood that.
Oh, God.
Which is why he had Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith.
No, I did not understand that.
Here she is speaking for Charlie Kirk from the grave. Okay, that's number 11. Here's number 12. This video is kind of funny. So Ian Carroll had I'm sorry, he's got so many fans and followers and stuff, and probably even people in the group. I just cannot stand the guy. I've never been able to stand the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of his stuff. I think he's done some good work on some things.
Yeah.
But now I think he's trying to maintain it.
Yeah.
And principles be damned.
So part of the conspiracy right now is that it was in fact not a 30-06 round that killed Charlie Kirk. I've hearing
some theories that came from behind, that it was an exit wound.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I, for one, have not seen the video of him getting shot.
Oh, it's awful. Don't watch it.
I don't know what it looked like. Ian Carroll is making the implication here that it would look somewhat like what's on the screen right now. But anyway, he says, "Have you guys seen what a 30-06 round does to a ballistic gel head and skull?" It didn't hit him directly in the head, hit him in the neck, first off. Whatever. Because we still got lots of questions about this official narrative. We'd love to see opinions of expert shooters and military personnel. Now, this was attached to a video of someone shooting through this gel head skull thing. And so here's what that looks like right there. And I'll just play it. And here's what happens.
You'll be able to see what happens.
That's a nice call to action.
That's good. And as you see, the head explodes. This sounds like the ladies on The View talking about how if you shot a deer with a, with a 223, it's just that you wouldn't even be able to eat it. There just wouldn't be anything left afterwards.
Yeah, the deer goes to space, blows up. Man,
I don't know. So is there a shooter in the group that can tell me that this is definitively what happens to a human head when it gets hit with a 30-06?
No, not necessarily. But you also have to understand that this isn't even close to accurate to what happened to Charlie Kirk, because he got shot in the neck.
Yeah.
By the way, he got shot. If you watch the video, he got shot in the neck. If I get this right, yes, on the left side, basically through his. And I don't know the report or whatever, but it appeared like it entered through where your like carotid artery would be, okay? Which all of this is soft tissue, okay? Now, if you hit the spine, there may be some bone fragments from that, but all of this here until you get to the actual spine is soft tissue. So very well, a 30-06 round could have traveled through cleanly, meaning not much resistance whatsoever. In fact, I believe the window behind him shattered. I'm pretty sure, if I understand what happened correctly, is that the bullet traveled through Charlie Kirk and into the building behind them. I could be wrong about that, but I saw that this morning.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
And so it doesn't mean that. And then some people were saying it was an exit wound. If the exit wound is a lot bigger than the tiny little incision that took place on the entry sides, it was definitely shot from the front. I've seen the video. Or it looks like there was a breezeway behind him, so it couldn't have hit a window. So maybe some information there. I don't know. But also, okay, any of you hunters out there, you understand, okay, when you shoot a deer, okay, the whole goal of shooting a deer is to shoot them right behind the shoulder, because there you are targeting the hearts and the lung, and there's very minimal potential to hit bone and fragment that, which destroys the meat. Not destroys, well, it makes it tougher to dress a deer that has had shattered bones in the shoulder or something like that. You're missing out on some meat. And so you're taught to shoot behind the shoulder, but in front of the gut, so that you hit the vital organs and you disrupt the least amount of flesh possible. And so even if you were to shoot a deer in the head with a 30-06, it doesn't blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This says a community note says 30-06 round fired out of the Mauser 98 doesn't have the force needed to explode a human head. It also has this link here that says ballistic gel dummies aren't an accurate representation of the human body. So I clicked on that link and went to this. This is a graphic from the Ballistic Dummy Lab. It says ballistic gel is not one-for-one replica of a person's flesh. Grab a block, sink your fingers in. This of the gel stuff. Sink your fingers in and rip it apart. It's not as strong or dense as a human body. It is simply a repeatable testing mechanism that allows you to have consistent medium. And my whole problem with this is Ian Carroll's this guy who just does all this research on everything, just all kinds of research. But he sees this thing that he likes and this idea that this wasn't the round, that it must have been a different round. And this is the shot came from somewhere else, and he just goes with that and doesn't try to fact check anything at all, because it goes with the narrative that he believes, or that he at least wants to post about, so he can get a lot of clicks. And you cannot trust a person like that. They've got clear biases and clear motivation to post things and get a lot of clicks, and they're not actually spending time to ever steel man the thing that they're doing. You want to make sure that you're not presenting false information to your people because they trust you. And he doesn't care about doing that at all. And so just everyone's got to be aware of that when you're looking at stuff that he posts. He's got a clear agenda right now, and things like this should embarrass him enough that he changes his actions on the way that he posts things. But it's not going to, because it probably got a crap ton of reposts and everything. And so, 1.2 million views on this. And so, why would you change your behavior on this? And a good portion of the people...
Now, he gives himself an out here by the last part of that sentence. Would love the opinions of expert shooters and military personnel in the comments. Mm-hmm. So he gives himself an out saying, I'm not the expert, but I saw this. Lots of questions. Because we still got a lot of questions about the official narrative. So let me call in the experts.
Yeah. There's your out. That's a good out. Yeah. Okay, number 13. This one goes to Bibi Netanyahu, just in case you think we were getting paid by Israel to talk bad about Ian Carroll. Do you think I put these things in order or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is really dumb and also a CYA, okay?
Bibi Netanyahu has heard that there are theories that Israel had something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk. And I could admit, there are plenty of ways to build the motivation that they might have because they saw the tides returning, and how dangerous that would be for them if he helped change the minds of all of these young conservatives. And so, sure, you can build the motivation. That's fine. You got no proof at all that they planned on taking actions, ever talked about taking actions, or took any actions at all. But you can build a motivation if you want to do that. That's fine. And, of course, add into that the circumstances where Bibi Netanyahu is going around on a media tour talking about the legacy of Charlie Kirk and talking about his friend Charlie Kirk and all that.
And how much he loved Israel.
Yeah, all of that. And so that makes it seem really weird, like he's capitalizing on this political moment, which aids in the conspiracy theories, of course, that Israel had something to do with that. And so he does what any old, out-of-touch politician who's in his last grasp for power would do, and he decides to record a video just doubling down on Charlie Kirk's love for Israel and how it's ridiculous if there are any theories, which, just so you know, it makes me question it even more when I hear stuff like this. Here's that video.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda.
Who?
You already started with Goebbels, Hitler's propagandist.
He sounds like he's got peanut butter on the roof of his mouth or something.
Gosh. I guess when I listened to this the first time, I didn't hear that he literally opened up with Nazis do this. How did I miss that the first time I listened to the video?
Because it auto plays. And so by the time you clicked on it and got the audio, it was already past that.
Gosh.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case.
I suspect that the next line was like, and that's why I think it's a bad idea that you're genociding people in Gaza.
Yeah.
Maybe just read the first line.
But he left that part out.
Right.
Directly to the...
I'm not speaking for Charlie Kirk. That's a joke, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie...
Which is why you should stop doing what you're doing and reconsider your foreign policy.
Yeah.
disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people.
Could he say what some of the suggestions were in that letter? I just
Right.
want to hear what the suggestions are.
Yeah.
No one's
Maybe
telling
stop
me.
the genocide. maybe murdering a bunch of children is not part of like what Jews should
God's
be doing.
plan.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly,
he said no.
That won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this.
Yes, the people that are doing this are being funded by Qatar. Yeah, like Trump's best friend.
Candace Owens.
Yeah, probably Candace Owens.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. Yeah. That's Laura Loomer's thing. I didn't do that.
Carlson.
Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
Now, look,
State of Israel.
I'm not saying Bibi's lying, okay? But if I were lying, that's exactly what I would say.
It's what I would say. It's what I would sound like. It's the hand gestures I would make. It's the tone of voice I would have. It's the way my eyes would move when I'm reading the teleprompter, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what it would look
And
like.
I would certainly open up with Nazi propaganda. Yeah. That's how I would open it.
I can't believe you opened with Nazis did this.
Yeah.
This is a rough batch of dumb.
Good luck to the voters.
I'm happy it's you guys and not me that has to vote for this thing because wow. Let's get through.
We're 2 hours in.
We are. Good Lord.
Couple breaks.
I won't even be able to upload the full video to one of our softwares. That's going to be annoying. Anyhow, number one, race grifters. That's Ben Crump, Nina Turner, Rashida Tlaib, I think. Number two, DC crime bills. Number three, Tim Waltz on the assault weapons ban. Number four, the Kimmel response from the left. Number five, the Kimmel response from the right. Number six, Trump and Pam hate speech. Number seven, all black women. So just so you know, if you vote for number seven, that's a vote for all black women. Number eight, J.B. Pritzker. I never called anyone Nazis. Number 9, Destiny. Number 10, Keith Olbermann. Number 11, Laura Loomer. Number 12, Ian Carroll. Number 13, Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi Netanyahu.
I vote for all of them.
Do you even know what you would pick personally? Like, make the case right now for the one that you would pick. Maybe that's something we should do every now and then.
I think I'm angriest about number 4. So that's my pick. That's what I thought your super dumb was. Because the fact that you have the vice president who was part of administration
and the former president,
and
Obama.
the former president, and you have all of these people on the left now all of a sudden sounding the alarm about silencing those that with ideas that you oppose, and the fact that it personally affected us, it still to this day affects us, and yeah, I mean, it's a personal decision. That would be my vote.
Yeah,
is the response on the left, because my God, that like the feelings of frustration and anger that I have, like you can't even measure. But I think it's mostly personal.
So
what's your super dumb? It's like, it's so dumb. It's super dumb.
Mine is the Trump and Pam hate speech one.
Okay.
That's the one. And
it's because she was wearing the same suit.
Yeah. I mean, you got to change at least. Like,
yeah.
No. So I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm more critical of my own or the people that I align more closely with, because I feel a responsibility.
She's like, what are you doing, idiot?
Yeah. Don't ruin this.
I voted for you.
For all of
you
us.
Idiot. What are you doing?
And so I tend to be more critical because I feel a responsibility, because like politicians are going to do what they think is popular. And so anyone who feels the need to speak out or disagrees with something, like, you need to, because it's not like they truly have this principle towards one thing or another. They're just doing what they think the crowd will go along with right now. And they could be wrong. And so people who are like people who voted for Trump or people who typically vote Republican or whatever, I think that's the best time to be critical of politicians, is when your guy's in power, because you want to make sure that you help direct them in the proper direction, the direction that you think they should go.
And also influence the hearts and minds of the cult followers.
Yeah.
So that they can pressure their person into doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Looks like you're gonna have to break the tie. By the way,
we're gonna have to break the tie. Let's get
you have Trump and Pam and MMN dust up. Looks like that's moving. So Trump and Pam hate speech.
We're gonna count out. This is between Trump and Pam hate speech and Destiny, and I believe it's going to be Trump and Pam hate speech is going to be the winner. And I think overall, the two clips from all those Pam clips were something else, man. But her saying there's free speech and then there's hate speech, I mean, that's just dumb. And then her saying that, like, you can't refuse service to someone as a business, and her saying you have an obligation to fire people and stuff like that. And it's just not something you want to hear. But then Trump taking it upon himself to decide to say that Charlie Kirk might have changed one of his longest held views of free speech conveniently with something that you want to go after, I think it's just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So I
forgot that was part of it.
Yeah, that's part of it there.
All right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it around. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com, because he does. Mm-hmm. Pick up some merchandise. There's a button that you can click to join the Fed Haters Club, so you can vote every Friday with us. And that's called Join GML. GML, like Good Morning Liberty, Join GML, or just type in joingml.com into your favorite mobile browser, typically Safari or Chrome, and that'll take you to the link that you need to sign up to be part of the Fed Haters Club. Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support the show, and if you do all of that, we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day, a good weekend, and a good morning, Liberty.